strong.
Welcome back to Crypto for Freedom, where we talk about gaining financial freedom through the cryptocurrency markets. Today we're talking about Bitcoin and Dogecoin. And if you like the content, make sure to smash the likes and subscribe to the channel. Let's jump into the charts. All right, you guys, Bitcoin is dropping all the way down to $90,000, $90,391. We have seen one weekly close underneath the 50-week moving average. And right now, Bitcoin is still dumping and headed towards a second weekly close underneath the 50-week moving average, which historically has meant the bear market has started. Now, what does that mean for Dogecoin? Make sure to stick around to the end of the video to find out my price prediction for Dogecoin. Now, let's jump over to the Dogecoin chart real quick, and we can see that it's kind of moment of truth time for Dogecoin, as we've found this support level 3 times now over here in 2025. Over here in April of 2025, and again June of 25, and now we're seeing this same support level at 15 cents in December of 2025. Now, if we go back in time, you can see that this 15-cent level was support. You can see that this 15-cent level was actually the bear market resistance. Once we broke through it here, we still found resistance above that, but we were able to break out here again and then come down and back test it 3 times. So in my opinion, this is the moment of truth, because Dogecoin has already fallen out of this ascending parallel channel that it's been making to the upside. And if we zoom in on the daily chart, you can see that the Dogecoin price is actually already back tested at one time. This would have been an ideal place to get into a short trade right here at the back test. And in my opinion, Bitcoin is the king, and we could be seeing a lot lower prices for Bitcoin. This orange parallel channel here, let me zoom back out to the weekly. This orange parallel channel here is basically the bull market range, and we've been in this bull market range since February of 2024, which has been, let me pull out my date range tool. Looks like it's 651 days in that bull market range. Well, how long were we in the bull market range last time? Let's see here. A lot less time, to be honest. Only 500 days. So we've had a lot longer bull market range this time. And let's see how long we were in the bear market range. So 651 days in the bear market range, 651 days in the bull market range. And Bitcoin likes to have these very volatile moves. Very volatile moves. Over here in 2021, if I can get this to work. Over here in 2021, Bitcoin saw a 50% drawdown in a bull run, followed by a 130% gain, followed by another 50% drawdown, followed by a 66% drawdown. So if we are coming into, this 1-year bear market like the 4-year cycle predicts, we should be seeing some massive drops here. A 50% drop would actually bring us all the way back down to the bottom of this channel. So if you guys are buying Bitcoin and Dogecoin right now, this is not financial advice, but you want to be holding for at least a 4-year period if you're buying right now. And if you want to get a better entry price, what you could do is stack cash for the next 1 year past the top of the market, which was October 2025. Stack cash for the next 1 year and try to buy Bitcoin. And I'm talking about Bitcoin, not Dogecoin, because Dogecoin is going to lose a lot of value against Bitcoin over this time. So you want to buy Bitcoin and be in the stronger asset during this time. Try to get Bitcoin between 40 and 50K. So if you're in a position where you can save up 40 to 50K over the next 1 year in cash, and then you're able to deploy that on like a dynamic dollar cost average DCA model where you're putting in like, this is what I did. I basically put in 5% like every half a week or something like that. And I just bought thousands of dollars of Bitcoin in the bear market. So if you're in a position where you can stack cash over the next 1 year and save up 40 to 50 grand and try to get, or maybe you can get 100 grand. Maybe you can get 1 to 2 Bitcoin down here. Well, essentially, I think that this bull market range is going to continue to be the bull market range. So I think I think Bitcoin's going to have a nice sizable drop here, come all the way back down to maybe 65%. And I think we could have diminishing losses. So from this peak here in 2021 to where the price broke out and back tested it, came up to the top of the bull run. Well, this trend line right here actually extends. And I think this could be the bottom of the bear market down here at this trend line for Bitcoin, a 65% retracement. It always could go a little bit lower. And then who knows, maybe we'll see a new all-time high before the halving again, just like we did in the last cycle. Or maybe we have to wait for the new all-time high until after the halving, like we've seen in previous cycles. But I think either way, the price is going to end up coming up back into this bull market range and finding new highs in 2028, 2029. And I really do think that this trend is going to be continuing as adoption continues. And we're going to see a bear market top in September of 2029, 546 days past the halving. And I think the top for Bitcoin could be right here in 2029 at $240,000. And, you know, if I'm right, it'd be kind of cool to have receipts on the channel saying that, you know, September 2029, we're going to see a $250,000 Bitcoin. That's what I'm going to be talking about over the next 4 years. And until then, if you're in altcoins, Dogecoin on the 7-year cycle theory, I do believe is going to continue to see lower highs against Bitcoin. So it might come back up to this trend line to, you know, maybe 50374. But that's like, if we're lucky, we're going to see Dogecoin outperform Bitcoin like that. But ultimately, we're going to see lower highs against its Bitcoin pair. And it's going to, the Doge Bitcoin chart will probably come down and find lower lows. And that's why I say it's best to buy Bitcoin in this area and then wait until basically right before the price is going to break out of this channel. So where did it break out of the channel last time? Over here. So like down here. So that was November 2020. And, you know, it could be in the same spot down over here. So we're looking like March of 2028. So in May of 2027, you would buy your Bitcoin. You would hold it for 9 months and let Bitcoin kind of dominate the market in that time. And then from there, you would kind of trade. You would trade your Bitcoin for your Dogecoin, and just a little small sliver of it. You would only need like 5% or 10% to get outsized gains. And I think that Dogecoin is following the XRP cycle, where it made a lower high in the 2021 cycle and then came up and made a higher high in the 2025 cycle, something like this, where here's our high in 2017, here's the high in 2021, which was a lower high, and then finally Dogecoin was able to break out of that high, and finally XRP was able to go into its bear market, break out of that downtrend, and head up and make a new high. And I think Dogecoin is going to do a very similar thing to that effect, where we made a lower high, and then we might come back up, make one more lower high, but then ultimately we're going to come down into a bear market until, like I said, March of 2028. When was this? Oh, January. Yeah. March of 2028. So March of 2028 would be right here. Okay. And then from there, the Dogecoin price would break out against its USD pair to make a higher high. And on the Doge Bitcoin chart, the price would come up, break out of this downtrend, and then come up and make a new high. And that's kind of what I'm predicting, to follow that 7-year cycle theory. And if we pull out the bars pattern, we can kind of see that, it's doing a very similar thing here, like this. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. So if you guys like the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We might have to wait for a new higher high for Dogecoin until 2028, 2029 to kind of see the real bull run. So that's why I keep talking about having a long-term conviction, beginning with the end in mind, and having an emergency fund, multiple streams of income coming in to protect your assets. And make sure to always do your own research, guys. You guys need to understand these things and not just listen to some random guy on YouTube. You guys need to understand these things yourself, because if you don't understand these things and you want to just have instant gratification, then you're probably going to get wrecked in these markets. So make sure to do your own research, and remember, none of this is financial advice. And, like, Dogecoin really is making this head and shoulders, man. It really is. So I would just be really careful right now, you guys, because you make the wrong investment at the wrong time. That's how you really get hurt. And I think Dogecoin could be seeing, from the high of this pattern to the low, we could be seeing like a 4.5 cent Dogecoin, 0.045. And yeah, it really sucks, but that could be like the generational buying opportunity of a lifetime. So if you guys like the content, make sure to subscribe, like the video, go check out all my other links below for the playlist in the description for my other Dogecoin videos. And just remember, none of this is financial advice. Make sure to always do your own research. And with that, we'll see you on the next video. Peace.